Ja, sowas. We're gonna playing some Path of Exile and the Path of Exile review in finally 1 hour, and I'm so damn hyped. I think so. Expected queue. Eh? Why can I not play the new? On why? Are the servers down or what? Well, I can. The realm is down for me. Yeah. Oh, right back one. Apparently, validate files. Guys, so the game files are validated now. So please let me play. Launching. Oh. Oder was? Just let me play some Path of Exile. That's apparently a patch. Hey? Play after that. Wait, like 38 minutes. 7% left. Hallelujah. Hallelujah, I can play at least. Oh fuck. Oh god. I will get. Oh, I can. um, uh, practicing a bit. Practicing a bit for the new patch. Yeah. And I'm playing without King's March. Maybe we will get an answer tonight if King's March will stay for core. Yeah. We'll be curious. I'm even level 8, lol. So we can also pause in the new league, which is a really welcome change. Yeah. So. Two more skills. Self with bows, increase attack speed with bows, increase accuracy rating. Increase movement speed. That's always good. That's always good. And so yeah, I did play Frasier, but for that I think I didn't start a new PE League in like 2 years or something. I'm really hyped for next Friday and next Saturday. I'm always kind of curious if I should watch the vendor for a better bow. Rikas becomes a great puzzle. Okay. Oh, Calcium so hart. Elon Musk hat eben gesagt, wenn er gewesen wäre, hätte Trump die Wahl verloren. Was ist denn da los, Alter? So, guys. Let's have a projectile. I will check. First of all. I think for the level 9 better bow. cold damage, grants 2 life, and repaired. So yeah. Well, I think I will just go through. Entire labyrinth. Oh, already like completed. Oh, shit. I completely forgot it. Already got every ascendancy file completed. The upper prison. Oh, okay. Okay, that was wrong. That was the wrong way. So. Oh. So like the wrong sound. Oh, then Cable input. So, bom, bom, bom. Ruhig. Oh fuck, lol. Ja, okay. Ach Mann. Oh, that's so dumb. So, guys, 20 minutes left until we're gonna hear from the devs the new PE league. Ach, oh Mann, yeah, also. I'm playing also way too sloppy. I shouldn't even die here. But it's just some practice for the new patch. Ey, ich bin. Bruder. Killed like 3 times by Brutus. That's really embarrassing. Okay, I need to relog. Cause my sound is fucked up. Ich was im Trinken. Hä? Okay, so now I hope. Yeah, okay, nice. No works, no nice. Sound works, no nice. But it's still, man, why I'm so freaking glass cannon. Yeah, it's just at the beginning. I need to, yeah.
As the prey grows more
I knew this. There was a time where I knew this completely blind when I played only P for like 3 or 4 years.
life and death.
There's 50 minutes left.
This is a strange land.
Fuck, I didn't have waypoint yet. Oh fuck.
To that just yet.
What is the waypoint? Here. Ship graveyard. Oh, mallet. A chain belt. Okay. Missions. Blue. That's one moment. I'll quickly AFK. So, okay.
I'm not up to that just yet.
Oh fuck. I'm really hyped for the new PoE league. Only 11 minutes left.
Frankly, I would have please understand that as a gentleman of honor, it pains me greatly to do this. Hard times call for hard times.
Okay. Oh. Yeah, I nailed.
You were a good man in a bad situation, Fairgraves.
A tree corner least. I have a sniper's mark. Also, Cluster multiple. I will also buy some MTX, a late birthday present for me. Like the stream is over. Okay, so zack, zack. Maximum Mana. Eight minutes, guys. Bitch. Perfect. Done. Where is the pathway? Path of Exile. Oh. Well, this will be great. Creative for Beauty and Chance.
I'm not up to that just yet.
A treasure chest. Oh, fuck. Ooh. Hallo, halt. Oh, da fuck. Auf who? Ey, Bruder. Ja, I still need some practicing. Ah. Level leer. Kill me awful. Okay. Ach ja. Eieiei. Well, nice that I got like my level up W. I should also upgrade my life last or something. Would be a nice choice. We also have some great beats, nice. Oh. Ach, Bruder. Yes, I really have to. So yeah, I'm not really good. I didn't play Pew for like yeah, a long time, but still, this was some incredible sloppy play from me. You know, let's head into the northern side. Okay, yeah. I hope that nobody did see this kick W.
I'm not up to that just yet.
So guys, we gonna look so for my TikTok stream I still have to Bildschirm offen haben. Oh shit. Oh, nice. Oh. Does it only legs for me? Oh. Oh.
I should know. But now, something more tangible. Someone I care for, trapped within the Atlas. Reliving memories. Made real.
What have you done?
Made grotesque. Made foul. These manifestations must be destroyed. Their threads must be eradicated. I must have answers. We must find the originator. We must save my sister.
Oh my god, Sana.
Prepare.
Is an illusion made real.
Yeah, before I talk about a completed King's Life, holy shit.
Come, child, drink deep the waters of life.
You're either a client
That's
or a target.
Target in sight.
Just done.
holy shit. Holy shit. I want to have
Your
some
sanity is
reaction
not promised to you here.
from people like
Hi, I'm Mark Roberts, Game Director on Path of Exile. As you just saw from the trailer, there's a lot to show you. Today, we will take you on a deep dive into the... After that, we'll cover the integration of gold into PoE 1 and how we're bringing Settlers of Kalgur into the core game.
Good.
Finally, we have a much-awaited upgrade to Betrayal
great.
League and a set of
Sounds
quality of
good.
life improvements.
Sounds also good.
Then, we'll wrap up by discussing our Boss Kill race event, showing you our new supporter packs, and ending with a live Q&A session, where Ziggy D will ask Jonathan and I your questions from Twitch chat.
That never
In
happens.
Path of Exile Secrets of the Atlas, strange rifts have... An intelligent man of mysterious heritage
why is stream lagging so hard for me?
are actually threads of memory, distorted and made real by the Atlas. Egan is able to create a link to these memory threads and open portals to them. Working with Egan, you must step through and find Zana, or whatever remains of her. Okay, so that's the story background. But how does this expansion actually work? In The Secrets of the Atlas, the pursuit of Zana with Egon is a new storyline that is introduced in high-tier maps. Upon meeting Egon and discovering the tier, he will then transfer it to your map device and reveal this on your atlas, a thread of memories. In order to now access each map on the thread, you simply need to talk to Egon when you're ready, and he'll open the areas in sequence. These areas can be fully influenced by your atlas tree, scarabs, fragments, and everything of the sort. As you work your way along the thread, you will discover that these maps have manifested dangerous threats, influenced by the memories of Zana herself. Monsters here are imbued with memory petals. Defeat them to absorb this power, which can be unleashed as a special ability during combat. Different maps on the thread have different abilities, and these abilities appear on an additional mini skill bar next to your regular skills. For example, Memory of Disbelief will cause all affected monsters to stop dropping equipment items, meaning they can now only drop more valuable items, like currency and maps. Memory of Panic will make all affected monsters revive immediately after death, which means you can get twice as much experience and drops from them. And Memory of Impatience will cause all surrounding enemies to give you their souls, temporarily increasing your power. As you progress further into the thread of memories, the maps can have more than one memory, and thus you can have more than one powerful ability. As you gather the memory petals, you can use these powers together. Each skill costs its own amount of memory petals. So using the examples above, you can first use Memory of Impatience to become way more powerful, then use Memory of Panic to prepare them to revive when they are slain, then use Memory of Disbelief to cause them to drop better, more valuable items.
Nice.
Finally, obliterate them all. The Memory of Panic will kick in, causing them to revive, and then wipe them out again, allowing you to get all the experience and enhanced drops twice. There are many combinations of these powers, so you'll have to carefully consider how they best work together. That's not the only extra layer of content juicing these maps offer. As you defeat the boss of each map along the thread, you are presented with an altar. This altar will apply a modifier to all following maps in the thread, and these will stack as you go. So the deeper you delve into a memory, the more mods you will have. This, combined with the special abilities, will allow for some of the most juice maps ever run in Path of Exile.
Holy shit.
Let's take a look at some of the altar mods. For example, you are always presented with two choices and must pick one. This mod, for example, will cause some rare monsters to be possessed by tormented spirits, where this mod makes Kerak modifiers free to craft. Both of these apply to all subsequent maps in the thread. The final map in each thread is a true challenge, with all the altar mods applying to it and guarded by a powerful boss. Each of these bosses are familiar, but dreamlike, drawn from Zana's memories and warped by the Atlas into something very different and terrifying. In this map, you will fight the pinnacle boss, Cirrus. Fueled by Zana's affectionate memories of him, his enhanced abilities can prove to be a unique challenge. If you manage to defeat Cirrus, or one of the other warped memory bosses, they will drop a map fragment, which Egon can use to delve deeper into the memory tiers.
That's nice.
With these, you can access a set of 3 new pinnacle bosses.
Ooh, nice.
In this arena, the Moment of Reverence, Zana is reliving a memory of her father, Valdo, giving a passionate speech in Oriath. The Atlas distorts this memory of her father as a powerful, influential man and manifests those emotions into a twisted nightmare, the incarnation of dread.
Okay. Extremely cool. And they always have so much shit going on.
Another memory created is the incarnation of neglect, and the Incarnation of Fear.
It's like you
Good luck, Exiles. Of course, if you are brave and strong enough to defeat them, each of these new pinnacle bosses have new unique items befitting them. If you slay the Incarnation of Fear, you might be lucky enough to find the Starcaller unique Abyssal Axe. We're gonna show this one because it's straight up badass. The Starcaller Axe is a weapon that can harness the power of the stars themselves to deal immense damage. What makes it shine, however, is that on melee crit, it casts Starfall, a new skill. With the right build, you can carpet entire areas and wipe out screens of enemies as you rain down the elements upon them. Another item you may find, and this one is my favorite, is the Wine of the Prophet unique flask. It consumes a lot of charges, but every time you use it, you draw a random divination card. This card appears above you and correlates to a powerful buff. If you draw the Escape card, you'll gain increased movement speed. Or maybe you'll draw the Doctor, which will cause you to gain the modifiers of slain rares you kill. Effectively, you can think of this unique as being many other uniques all in one. There are many cards to draw, each with varying degrees of power to grant. Okay, but let's get back to the Atlas. More memory strands, the better the item will be. On top of this, whenever you're crafting that item using currency orbs to replace or add modifiers, such as alterations, chaos, and so forth, it will consume some memory strands to make the crafted mods more powerful. The new pinnacle bosses also drop new crafting currencies, which can be used to manipulate the amount of memory strands on an item. The Orb of Remembrance will let you add memory strands to any normal equipment. So if you have your perfect base to craft on, and it doesn't already have memory strands, you can add some before crafting it. The Orb of Unraveling will consume all remaining memory strands on an item to randomly upgrade its mod tiers. This orb's effectiveness is based on the number of memory strands it consumes. The Orb of Intention can be used on memory influence maps to reduce item drops, but improve the chance to find items with memory strands. In the process of adding these new currency items, we realized something was missing. The Shaper and the Elder did not have their own Exalted Orbs. This has now been rectified. Both bosses now have Exalted Orbs, which can add their influence to an item. Zana was there from the beginning, when the Shaper Pinnacle fight was first added. She helped defeat the Elder, and she was a critical part of the Conqueror's storyline. Now, with all 6 influence types having their own Exalted Orbs, the cycle is complete. It's almost as if we could now do some sort of new, epic, unique item to interact with them.
What?
In other news, there of course has to be Atlas passive tree support for this new endgame content. Let's take a look at a few things we're adding.
Okay.
The Grasp of the Past notable passive skill increases the chance for the amount of memory strands on items dropped in your memory influence maps to be lucky. This means it will roll the number of memory strands twice, keeping the highest value. By allocating traumatic experience, remembered kindness, or educated upbringing, you'll decrease the chance of finding memory threads that lead to specific bosses, meaning you'll have better chances at finding the memory threads you would like to run.
Oh, nice.
This is especially useful if you want to target farm a specific boss because of its unique item drops. In sum, the secrets of the Atlas will have you questioning what is real as you attempt to free Zana from warped memories scattered throughout the Atlas. You'll fight new Guardian and Pinnacle bosses tormenting her, find crazy new Pinnacle uniques, combine and unleash memory petal-empowered skills, juice maps to new heights, and craft powerful new items. While we were showing all the juicy rewards from the new endgame system, you might have noticed that a lot of gold was dropping. Let's talk about that. Gold was introduced during the Settlers of Kalgur expansion. It funded the development and operations of King's March, along with various new features such as the currency exchange, the black market, and the passive respec system with Faustus. Those features offered by Faustus will be here to stay, along with some of the other services King's March has to offer. We'll get more into that later, but don't worry, King's March has already been completed. There will be no more town building. Like before, gold will be used for town services, but we're also adding a new way to use it in the upcoming league. It's time to talk about Mercenaries of Trathus. In this league, you will meet veterans who have travelled all the way from the lawless cities of Trathus. They're ready to offer their sinister services, but not for free. You will encounter these mercenaries as you journey through Rayclast, one in each area. They have their own personalities and come with different builds, skills, and items already equipped. After meeting them, as per the Trathan Code, they will challenge you to a duel, a test of strength and conviction. Before beginning the duel, you will be offered an overview of the mercenary you've encountered. Here, you can see the gear they have equipped, the skills they employ, and any support effects augmenting those skills. You must now make a choice. You can hire their services. If you choose to hire them, for a gold cost, they will accompany you as a skilled combatant to assist you in fighting monsters throughout Rayclast. Once you've decided, you can begin the duel. This is a great opportunity to test them, as you don't want to be out of pocket with a useless rookie. However, they're testing you too. They also don't want to be working for an amateur. So,
I imagine that could be that
what items
useful
might
in
they
your
be
build, though.
What items might they be using? Generally speaking, mercenary gear is more powerful than what you'd normally find from defeating monsters, as they've been crafting their items too. They can also come equipped with unique items, those that would make sense for the skills they are using. There are even some new unique items that can only be obtained from defeating them. One such unique is Scornflux. These boots combine agility with the mastery of the arcane. While equipped, increases to cast speed from Arcane Surge also apply to movement speed, which is worth noting is now 20% inherently from Arcane Surge, up from 10. They also grant Arcane Surge when you use a movement skill. This allows for some speedy spellcasters. Sometimes you may meet particularly infamous Trathan mercenaries, bearing the name of their house. These mercenaries descend from the 4 major death trade families in Trathus. They are less common, but have far better items. And they are also the sole source of items with new, infamous modifiers, unseen before in Rayclast, such as these gloves, which convert all of your minions' fire damage to chaos damage.
Nice.
Or this helmet, which causes nearby enemies to take more physical damage as you gain more fortification. If you're not swayed by any of their equipped gear, however, you can always challenge them for the contents of their pockets. If you lose the duel, don't worry. You don't need to give them an item. You aren't bound to Trathan tradition like they are. However, you are bound to Rayclast tradition, so you'll just die.
Almost at me. Well, not really.
That's
While
really
playing in a
hard.
party, each player can decide whether or not they want to participate in combat against the mercenary.
It's really
For each
nice.
player that opts in, the mercenary gets more difficult. But if they're defeated, each player has a 50% chance to get a random reward, which is usually currency items from the mercenary's pouch.
Honestly, I'm so hyped.
Alternatively, party members that opt out of the fight can spectate and cheer you on. Or they might wish for your demise, so they can pick up that allocated divine waiting off screen.
Dead. Good.
Let's say you won the duel, like their items, and have decided to hire them. What combat skills do they bring to the table? Each mercenary has an archetype. Here, this mercenary is an Eruptor, which perfectly couples with my slower, more aura-focused Scion. This mercenary is highly aggressive, and will get a lot of benefit from the auras and I provided.
Oh.
When I'm
can
playing a more
basically
aggressive
play
character
a
myself
raw
though,
one.
I'll want a mercenary with a bit more resilience and utility. I've just run into a striker, who can spawn with Vigilant Strike. And if you're lucky, a very rare golden support that causes the fortify granted by his Vigilant Strike to apply to me as well. He will also frequently use Enduring Cry, taunting enemies off of me and operating as a tanky front line while I blitz off damage from the back.
Nice.
Sometimes when you fight a mercenary, you may notice the skills they're using are different from normal. For example, this sniper is using a Trathan version of Siege Ballista. If you're lucky, you will be able to select it as your reward when challenging them, then defeat them, and they'll drop the Trathan gem as promised. You can only have one mercenary accompanying you at a time, but up to 3 total in your service. The other 2 will wait patiently in town. Having varied options is useful, as there may be situations where you need specific backup, like a difficult boss fight. Any of your mercenaries you have active, or in your reserves, can have their equipment replaced with items of your choosing.
Ooh.
They don't level up, so you will want to be
That's
looking out for more
nice.
skilled and more powerful mercenaries as you advance through the campaign and endgame. If your mercenary falls in combat, you will need to return to town and spend some gold on healing supplies to get them back on their feet. Then perhaps consider giving them some upgrades,
Nice.
if you think it's deserved. I just wanted to clarify, mercenaries do not lose their equipment when defeated. If your merc buddy consistently
That's really
fails
cool.
you can just dismiss them and find a new, more resilient ally.
Well, I'll just take.
You walk your path, I'll walk mine.
Earlier, I mentioned you could exile mercenaries. If you keep running into a mercenary archetype and you think, man, this guy stinks, the gear is trash and they have no auras, you can then choose to exile them. If you win the duel, they'll be forced to leave with their tail between their legs, and you won't encounter that archetype again for a while.
Oh, okay.
Now, alongside these new Trathan arrivals, we shouldn't forget about
has to go
the recent
core,
Kalgurin ones too. As we mentioned earlier, the Settlers update introduced gold-based respeaking of passive points. You can now do so by talking to a number of NPCs throughout Rayclast, starting with Bestil and Lionize Watch.
Oh, nice. You can
Black
respec
market
with
item
gold.
gambling, previously just available in Kingsmarch, is now available in each town at the same NPC.
Okay, that's.
This lets you buy randomly generated item bases for gold.
That's
Very useful if you're stuck for upgrades
so good.
or searching for a specific unique. The currency exchange will be returning too. Starting from Lionize Watch in Act 6, you'll be able to find Faustus, who can help facilitate these trades. Now, after almost a year of building, Johan is finally satisfied with the upgrades made to the town. And now, its services can be used to their full effect. Kingsmarch is going core, but there will be no more town building.
nice.
As you start running maps in the endgame, you'll start to find different ore veins, which Kalgurin workers can mine for you. The shipping mechanic invites you to send these ores and crops to Karui and Kalgurin ports, and they'll return rewards in kind. By sending shipments, you'll receive different items, but by sending to Karui ports, you will also receive tattoos, which can be used on your passive tree to change what stats they grant. The Kalgurin ports will be sending back rune grafts, which is a new passive tree mechanic that replaces the runesmithing service previously offered by the town.
Yeah.
These are similar to tattoos, but instead of replacing stat nodes, they replace a passive tree mastery node. For example, Runegraft of the Bound reduces bonuses gained from boots, but increases bonuses gained from gloves. Runegraft of the River has a chance to recover your life to full if you reach low life.
Wow.
And the Runegraft of Time, which has a chance for your cooldown skills to instantly recover from their cooldown, which I will note includes cooldowns on your triggers, just in case you wanted to trigger even more spells. There are many other rune grafts which cover a wide range of different builds and stats. Some are more common and others rarer. You can only use one of a given type at a time, but you can use them on any mastery on your passive tree, which can be particularly useful for off-class investment. Isla has continued to make modifications to the Recombinator. She has developed a new method of recombination that you may recognize from Path of Exile 2. For those unfamiliar, this method allows you to decide which modifiers on the two input items you want to try merge together, and it has a success chance you can see. This method can result in the items being destroyed. However, it is a good option to use when trying to create items with fewer mods to use as crafting projects. Given the existing recombinating mechanic was very powerful for top-end crafting, we didn't want to remove it. We have kept it, and you can now choose to use it the old way or the new way. By letting fate decide, it will combine the two items randomly. There is no risk of destroying either item, but it will be less predictable.
Okay.
As Settlers is now a core mechanic, we've also added Atlas passive tree support. For example, if you wanted to gather more Verisium ore, you could take this notable. Each ore has a similar node. Refiner's Bargain converts items dropped by possessed monsters into thaumaturgic dust, sulfite into random ores, and life force into random crops. We've also added a set of Kalguran scarabs, so you can add more ore deposits, increase the rarity of monsters that guard ore deposits to at least magic, or gather smelted bars from ore you mark instead of ores.
Okay.
To sum it all up, Kingsmarch is now a thriving town where you can employ a swath of workers to collect resources, refine ores, craft items, and run maps for you. Send shipments of resources in exchange for tattoos and rune grafts, using those to modify your passive tree to an extent never seen before. Following on from that, we've also made a substantial rework to another important mechanic, Betrayal. As a refresher, and to explain to new players, let's briefly explain what Betrayal is. Betrayal is a mechanic introduced in Act 9 and tells the story of Jun Ortoy and her investigation of the Immortal Syndicate. This is a mysterious group of exiles who can seemingly come back from death. You must help Jun to uncover their leader, the Syndicate Mastermind. The Immortal Syndicate is organized into 4 divisions: transportation, fortification, research, and intervention.
Honestly, I always hated.
As you encounter the Immortal Syndicate members, you'll gain intelligence for each of these divisions to discover the location of their leaders, tracking them to their safe houses. Defeating the division leaders at their safe houses will reward you with intelligence on the Syndicate Mastermind. In your journey to track down the Syndicate leader, you'll manipulate the members of the Immortal Syndicate to change divisions, form friendships and rivalries, and even banish them from the Syndicate for a time. Historically, after encountering and defeating the Syndicate Mastermind, the state of the Immortal Syndicate would reset, requiring you to start from the beginning of the investigation again. This has always been a difficult decision for players and can often feel bad. Do you fight the Mastermind for a chance at the special loot, or keep farming the safe houses that you've spent so long setting up? Well, in the Secrets of the Atlas expansion, we've split out the Mastermind to be completely separate from the core mechanic. The boss is now accessible through a new fragment that has a chance to drop from the safe house leaders at high levels. The Mastermind no longer resets the state of the Immortal Syndicate. You can now build your Betrayal board to your liking, optimize it, do Mastermind fights, and reap the rewards without having to lose all your progress every time. The boss fight itself has also been improved, now with significantly fewer immunity phases and new rewards. By the way, if you're a new player to Path of Exile 1, don't worry about all this detail. This content is optional, and you can discover and engage with it at your own pace. The Mastermind still has a chance to drop a Veiled Orb. Now renamed to Veiled Exalted Orb. Veiled Chaos Orbs are being re-added to other safe house leaders. In addition, the Mastermind now drops the new All Flame Embers. All Flame Embers are map fragments that replace monster packs and in-game maps with different types of special monsters. These packs have unusual properties, compositions, or rewards.
Ooh, that's nice.
For example, you might use the All Flame Ember of Kulamak, which replaces packs with Syndicate monsters and their leaders, who revive after the map boss has been slain. This might at first sound annoying due to backtracking, but these monsters when revived are far more intense and rewarding. It is our intention with All Flames to provide many different types that combine with other mechanics, multiplying with your existing modifiers in new and interesting ways. Another good example of this is the All Flame Ember of Propagation. When slain, special rare monsters added by this All Flame here will spread their modifiers to other rare monsters in the map.
Wow.
This can be useful when trying to create singular, very powerful, and very rewarding monsters. Something akin to meat sacks, which are making a reinvented comeback with this update too. Another is the All Flame Ember of Resplendence, which adds monsters that drop no items, but when you slay them, you get buff stacks of increased quantity and rarity to enhance the drops of all other monsters. All Flame Embers can be placed in your map device like scarabs, and used in conjunction with scarabs to further customize your maps. We're looking forward to seeing which combinations players find to enhance their maps. Perhaps you'll use all scarabs, all flames, or maybe mix and match. It's up to you. The Mastermind's unique items have also been improved. The veiled modifiers generated on these items are now from a custom pool exclusive to those uniques. Bitterbind Point, for example, can now have various Spectre-specific outcomes, such as +1 additional Spectre. Aside from improved rewards from the Mastermind, all the safe house rewards have also been rebalanced. We've done a pass on the crafting sprees at the end of many safe houses. For those who aren't aware how these crafting sprees work, well, it's simple. There's a crafting bench with an item in it and a bunch of currency. There's a limited amount of time, and your only objective is to craft the best item possible before the time ends. One of the problems that the crafting sprees have is that they often require you to have specific items on hand in order to best maximize your result. But how are you supposed to know that beforehand? In order to solve this, most of the crafting sprees now offer pre-generated items. This has also allowed us to add much more powerful crafting options in each spree. Let's take a look at a few examples. In this spree, a randomly generated amulet or ring will be waiting for you. Test your crafting skill or luck with this Reflecting Mist crafting spree, and see if you can create something worthy of Kalandra's praise. And in this spree, you will find a pre-generated unique item, and a new kind of orb that resembles a Val orb, but not quite the same. Normally, you can only corrupt an item once, but uniques in this spree can be corrupted and re-corrupted as many times as there are orbs. This orb also allows you to get 2 corrupted implicits, and has a much lower chance to brick the item. It can be a very useful tool for seeking specific corrupted implicit outcomes. Of course, if you push your luck, you can still ruin the item. There are also crafting sprees where you still need to provide an item, but those items are generally more accessible and it occurs less frequently. This one allows you to bring your own normal rarity item, then just go ballistic with a whole ton of scouring orbs and orbs of chance, hoping to get your ideal unique. For most sprees, the rank of the Syndicate member increases the amount of currency provided, the quality of the pre-generated items, and the time allowed to craft your item. Aside from the crafting sprees, there are other new options too. If you love gambling for currency, how about you try opening Varici's Emperor's Luck chests? These work just like the Emperor's Luck divination card and provide full stacks of currency. If you're lucky enough, unlike me, you could end up with a whole lot of divines. Betrayal is a good source of veiled items. Veiled items have some important quality of life improvements in this expansion too. All of the crafting bench options normally granted by unveiling items are instead now moved to the core game. so you don't need to run Betrayal to unlock them. They are instead found at the entrances to boss rooms and in-game maps. On top of that, you no longer need to speak to Jun to unveil items. You can just right-click them, or the equivalent on gamepad, and select which veiled modifier you want to unveil. Overall, Betrayal is now much more streamlined and more rewarding. Happy
That's
interrogations.
Really nice. I already hated Betrayal Total. Maybe I will try it now with the next league.
Now before we get into our quality of life additions, let's quickly talk about some character balance. We will be doing our regular character balance changes where we are bringing outliers in line to help evolve the meta, but we are also focusing our attention on buffing some specific things. This includes spellcasting supports that specifically enhance self-casting builds, channeled spells, adding new options to the Guardian, Berserker, Elementalist, Saboteur, and Champion Ascendancy classes, which include some favorites from some of the alternate classes from Legacy of Frisia, and buffing a whole bunch of transfigured gems that never really hit the mark. Combined with the new in-game crafting, improved Betrayal crafting options, rune graphs for your passive tree, new pinnacle unique items, new modifiers and Trathan gems from the mercenaries, and of course the mercenaries themselves to act as an extension to your character, it's safe to say there's a lot of new character options and builds to think about. Instead of delving into all of these in more detail, we figured we'd just let you absorb them through the patch notes so you can do it at your own pace. In the Secrets of the Atlas expansion, we've also
feel like
added
an
a lot
idiot.
of the quality of life features. The same applies to essences with the Remnant of Corruption currency. Orbs of
We
Horizon
are
have been
2
updated.
back.
They can now re-roll your
Sick.
Guardian maps. You want to use varying amounts of scarabs or other map fragments. During breach encounters, all the splinters will be automatically collected and dropped at the end of the breach.
Breach.
On gamepads, we have separated the targeting of monsters and non-monsters, so you are able to target them independently.
Nice.
This removes a bunch of frustration when you are trying to interact with objects in the world and monsters are nearby. You no longer have to kill all of them first. Vendor windows will now remember your last search. This is remembered until you log out, and is remembered on a per NPC basis. The amount of characters you can type in the search field has also been increased. When using currency items, after right-clicking them, it will highlight all other items which that currency can be used on.
That's nice. So yeah, we are.
There are many other quality of life improvements, so keep an eye on the patch notes after this livestream concludes.
Patch notes
Alongside
after
the launch of
livestream.
Secrets of the Atlas, we are hosting a competitive event where players will race to be the first to kill the new pinnacle bosses. The event will take place in the hardcore, solo self-found Mercenaries of Trathis League. We have some interesting prizes in store for the winners. Keep an eye on the news in the lead up to launch for more details about how the event will work and what its prizes are. Next up, we're going to be talking about our new League supporter packs.
I will be definitely.
Today,
buying
we're launching 2 new
supporter
series of supporter packs, the Frisian Magistrate and Crypt Keeper packs. Each tier contains the pack's full face value in points, alongside several exclusive microtransactions. As always, the microtransactions in these packs are purely cosmetic and do not affect your character's power or progression in any way. The Frisian Magistrate series of supporter packs contains 6 exclusive microtransactions.
And ugly.
The Frisian Magistrate character effect will bind your character in thorny vines and roses. You can select which parts of the character you want to have covered. Either your entire body, your lower body, or your upper body. As you approach waypoints, it will emit leaves and golden petals towards it. When activating the waypoint, it will create a burst around you. Envelop your weapon in thorny vines and golden flora with the Frisian Magistrate weapon effect. Your weapon will also create a trail to match as you swing, and even comes with its own hit effect when slaying enemies. You are the law while wearing the armor of the powerful Frisian Grand Magistrate. The Spider Blossom pet activates its defense mechanism, disguising it as an elegant flower when near rare or unique enemies.
Okay.
The Frisian Imperial Magistrate back attachment comes in 2 forms. Equip either the Tombstone variant, which will leave tombstones in your honor when you meet your demise, Or equip the cape variant to cause the corpses of slain enemies to become enveloped in rose-thorn vines and blossom with golden flowers.
Nice. Yeah,
Keep track of how well, or
supporters
poorly,
pack.
your ultimatums with the Trial Master have gone with the Trials of Chaos hideout decoration. It will keep track of the total number of waves completed, the total number of ultimatums succeeded, or even failed. On top of that, it will track the total number of times you've defeated the Trial Master himself. The Crypt Keeper
That's
Pack
what I have.
series also contains 6 exclusive microtransactions. With the Crypt Keeper finisher effect, death itself will tear through into the realm of the living and steal the soul of slain unique enemies.
Oh, okay.
The Crypt Keeper portal effect creates a gateway for lost souls to pass through.
That looks really amazing.
Become the true master of the undead by wearing the hallowed Crypt Keeper armor set. It comes with a more armored helmet variant and a creepy mask with a spectral hood. Looking to have some fun during idle time in your hideout? The Burrowing Bramble Bash hideout decoration will test your reaction speed as you try to whack as many Devourer heads as possible in the shortest time. It also comes with a scoreboard, so you can try to set new records to show off to your friends or just visitors coming to trade. Equip yourself with the Ghostly Dead as you ride the line between the living and the dead with the Sacred Crypt Keeper back attachment. The Sacred Archives map device resembles a magical library. Equip yourself with the ghost scholars that come to life when you open a map. This map device tracks how many of each core league you've completed in in-game maps.
Yeah.
These packs are now available for purchase on both PC and console,
Wow.
and will remain so during Path of Exile, Mercenaries of Trathus. Additionally, any microtransactions from these supporter packs will be made available for use in Path of Exile 2. Meanwhile, the Paladin and Penance packs leave the store forever at the launch of the Mercenaries of Trathus League, so now's your last chance to purchase them. Additionally, the Dawn of the Hunt mystery box will be made available for Path of Exile 1. If you have already unlocked any microtransactions from this box in Path of Exile 2, you will of course immediately have access to them in Path of Exile 1. Thank you so much for your ongoing support. We're just about to start the Q&A with Ziggy D. Afterwards, we'll post the full patch notes for Path of Exile, Secrets of the Atlas. With release at the end of next week, our community team will be posting crucial information you'll need for the release. Keep an eye on the news. Thanks for joining us today and checking out our latest developments. We're looking forward to dueling mercenaries, fighting new pinnacle bosses in the endgame, and exploring the new crafting systems and character builds next week. We'll begin the Q&A shortly, so please get your questions ready.
Yeah, nice. We can play now a bit until my stream. Until I need to go off and just listen to this.
Welcome back, Exiles, to another, I expect, very large Q&A covering all that we have to cover for Secrets of the Atlas. I am, of course, joined by Jonathan and Mark. Welcome back, folks. Thanks for chatting with us once again.
Always great to have you over.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks for being here as well.
Yeah.
Nice, but the stream is kind of lagging.
That's it. There was a lot of, I think, pressure on this one for you guys. Like, it's been a long time since we've had a big Path of Exile 1 expansion.
Sure.
How did you guys feel going into this, and how do you feel like you've been able to deliver?
I mean, honestly, I'm like pretty happy with it.
Oh man, it sucks.
Like, it isn't a, it isn't a full year of development, because, obviously PoE 2 disrupted things a bit, but the main thing is we're kind of back in action now. We've worked out the model for how the studio can function doing the stuff, and ultimately what it required is kind of like merging the teams back together, kind of having everything so that, like, you know.
Oh, that's that cool.
Like everyone's able to work on both games, not necessarily simultaneously for a given like person, but effectively, you know, we need sort of like, you know, our best people to be able to work on both games in order to really make sure that they're good. And so, you know, that effectively means that merge sort of approach is definitely way better. And so now that we've kind of got that, and like, you know, now that we're back to sort of.
Oh man, what's going on with this game?
Deadlines again and everything like that, I think it will just like go a lot smoother, and like, you know, I'm pretty happy with, like, you know, effectively that we kind of got our
technical difficulty. Oh, still. Oh. Okay. I'm having technical difficulties. So honestly, I am so hyped for the new league. Fuck. Nice, Craiglands Emerald. Only that's also a win, so we're gonna get a PoE 1 league in 1 week. We're gonna get the new D4 league in like 3 weeks, and we're gonna get the new PoE 2 league in like August. So that's just so much content, and I'm so hyped. Oh, Path of X. Yeah, guys. Yeah, guys.
I'm not up to that just yet.
But I think I will end my stream now. just chill a bit. Or we're gonna do more practicing in P1.
Now we're kind of making it so that, you know, we're effectively moving people, you know, backwards and forwards from PoE 1 and 2 sort of like as needed. And that's definitely a much better structure for us, because it just means that we get, you know, like all our best people can work on, you know, whatever game needs it right now. You know, we've always worked well with like kind of the fixed, in the past, sort of with the fixed deadline model, where it's like, you know, we have a fixed deadline, but if we, and what's in the patch depends on what's ready by the time we get there, and I think that's just going to result in a much better experience for players. And so now that we've kind of got that, I mean, this really represents, you know, what we can deliver sustainably, what we can deliver in 4 months, you know, and so we'd expect to see this kind of, you know, like amount of content every 4 months, you know, as we go forward, and for PoE 1 and 2 as well. So, you know, now that things are back, I would say, like, you know, we're kind of back in our stride again, things should go a lot smoother from now.
In sum, we're back.
That's not way to
so back.
Yeah.
Thank goodness we're back.
I did feel like that. I feel like the reception's been very positive so far, and I've been having a bit of a chance to play around with mercenaries, which are exceeding my expectations in terms of like how fun and powerful they are. I feel like you guys have made them really powerful too. So
we've honestly been talking about making a mercenary for like probably 5 to 10 years. Like, it's been one of those things that
you've been
keeps
telling me
coming
about
back
it for
up.
years.
Yeah, exactly.
It came up with the PoE 2 Rogue Exiles, came up during Settlers League, came. I mean, that's just the recent. I mean, a year ago, within the last year stuff.
You guys baited me pretty hard, because last league you put out this system where you have these exiles that you send out on maps, and I'm like, oh, we're gonna gear them and all this stuff, and it's like, oh, I can't wait, that's what I've always wanted. And then, you know, it wasn't that, and I'm like, oh, now you're never gonna do that because you did this instead. And then literally next league, you do the mercenaries finally. So was it like waiting on something? Was there something that needed to happen there?
I guess it was more just a question of having a good design for how it could work, and you know, there was a couple of other things. One thing that wasn't really mentioned in the video very much is that the mercenaries do count as half a player for the purposes of drops and monster difficulty. And so that's going to kind of change the calculus a little bit. You're effectively getting 9-player difficulty and loot, which there is some differences to the way that works now, but yeah, that's kind of one of those things that like, if we just added mercenaries without doing something like that, then it would mean that you know, the game would be too easy. So that's why we've kind of got that situation going on.
It means, like, you know, at best, if you're a more, you know, bad build, bad character, new player, whatever you want to call that, you know, they're going to carry you probably, or could carry you. And at worst, if you're, you know, the power of 10,000 gods and have infinite everything and screen coverage and DPS, then they're just boosting your loot, right? So there's a flaw there on either side that is just going to be beneficial to every single player. So
that sounds like absolute beautiful chaos, like 6-player party plus 6 exile mercenaries.
Our initial design had it that you could have up to 6 players, or, you know, 1 player and, well, I guess 3 players and 3 mercenaries, you know? It was like a mercenary takes a player slot is what we initially
had. That was
had.
the initial way to think about balance, but I think it wouldn't have been nearly as good, because like, you want the mercenary to be part of your build, to kind of feel like it's actually, you know, because, you know, it comes with like auras and things like that. Like, effectively that all becomes part of your build at that point, so it's kind of important that you don't have to sacrifice that when you're playing in a party with other people.
Didn't want to have the thing of like, okay, you join your 3 friends and then whose mercenary gets used. Like,
exactly.
do I not get to have my guy now? And I don't get, you know. So it's, you know, we ended up getting away from that and just going, everyone bring the merc, and which results in peak chaos. But you know, it's fun.
And I mean, you can also have an animate guardian, and you did tell me that there's changes for that as well.
Yes, of course you can have. In fact, I expect a lot of people to now have your 6-player party with your 6 mercenaries and everyone with them animate guardian, because I mean, how can you add mercenaries and then have a point to say that they don't drop loot when they die, and also not make the same change to animate guardian? However, if they do die in the instance, you can't bring them back, so at least there is still that penalty to having them be weak. So if they just die at the start, they're gone.
Until you play another
it's going to result in a lot more people using animate guardian in their build, but now you have to gear up your character, 1 animate guardian and 1 mercenary, so we'll have multiple mercenaries technically, so we'll see how the itemization and trade economy goes in that regard. And
yeah, I mean, that's kind of cool though, is like having all that extra demand for gear, and that's yeah, I was certainly like thinking about how I want to keep, you know, some of this gear aside for like the potential mercenary I was trying to find and things like that, but that adds a lot to that. But I did want to, before we get stuck into some of the new content, just kind of like help ease people who maybe are a little bit worried about the future of Path of Exile just a little bit more. So this is what you hope to be able to deliver every 4 months, and you've got a much more strict kind of like approach to that now, where you were saying to me like, well, if this thing that you're talking about is not ready, then it's not going in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas before you would push the date, I felt.
Exactly, 100%. So we've been in the kind of push the date mindset, I would say, for like a couple of years now.
Yeah.
And in the past, we were never like that. We were way more strict with it, and I think it was definitely beneficial to do that. The issue was it was so hard to develop PoE 2 at the same time when we had all that stuff. So now that we're kind of like in the mode where we can support both with the release frequently, it means we can kind of go back to that model, and as I said, I think it'll just be way better.
I just want to make sure we are always going to be that whole like plus or minus 1 week flexibility, because you have things like
sure. There
public
might be like
holidays,
exactly.
conventions,
Right.
clashes with things, and all that. So obviously you get that just before we get held to the strict to the day 4-month thing. But you know, yes, it is the goal. 100%. You go back to that. I think there is it is very, very important that you have, you know, as a player and a long-term player of a game, of which many of our players are, you have that consistency and you know what to expect, and you can be like, yes, I've played for my month, I've played for my 2 months, I know I can just, you know, stop for 2 or swap to the other game, do that, and then I can know it's going to be coming again in 2 months, instead of that just like
there for me again when I need it.
that like unknown is very sad, honestly, as a developer and as a player, and I certainly don't want to do that ever again.
I imagine it has a toll on the team in terms of them like knowing, because it's hard to make content, I imagine, and just not have it get shipped. Like, because it's the date's being pushed out,
it depends on the person. Some people kind of like actually prefer that more. Some people do really like the deadlines. It's honestly a variety.
Yeah, okay, a bit of a mixture. And you mentioned blending the teams together. That's like a big change, whereas before you were explicitly trying to separate them, and there was the question of like, oh, there's problems with that, right?
Yeah. Well, so I mean, we had problems when they were blended originally, like years ago, where PoE 2 wasn't getting like, you know, it kind of wasn't working because that deadline was so far out that it kind of works. So we had to split the team to get PoE 2 shipped at that point. But now that we're back and, you know, like releasing frequently, it just makes more sense to bring everyone back together again. And it keeps the expertise up. It makes sure that, you know, like the games are, you know, there's just technical things like making sure that the engine is like in sync for both games and that kind of stuff. Like, there's just so many elements that sort of make it better to have everyone merged together, I think.
I imagine it helps with the cross-pollination between games. We just got pausing, which is
for sure.
one of my most wanted quality of life improvements. That's a phenomenal announcement. But I certainly see people asking about things like WASD and stuff like that. And this support for the future is...
Unfortunately, WASD just can't really happen because... Well, okay, I say that, but this is the thing, right? So effectively, in order for WASD to happen, we would need to be able to change the rigs over to the PoE 2 character rigs. In order for that to happen, we need to get all the micros ported over, and then we'd need to port all of the armors from PoE 1 over to those rigs as well. So it would be a really long-term thing. Yeah. There might be a world one day where that can happen, but it's certainly a long process to get that to happen.
That's what I was kind of wondering is, like, do you envision a situation where Path of Exile 1 is, like, warrants that sort of massive effort in a year or two or something like that?
Once we've got all the microtransactions ported, which we're doing anyway, then it wouldn't be like so bad. I mean, it would be a lot, but not like, you know, not like completely unreasonable. So it's a thing that could happen, but it's a lot of effort to get that feature. So the main reason to do it isn't even for WSD. It's because we've been pretty unable to make new combat animations for PoE 1 for so long due to all of the problems with the rigs. So if the main reason to do it would be that we can make like new actual melee skills properly again. That would be the reason. I mean, hopefully we can get to that. It's just it'll take a while though.
A lot of the skills you notice, and if people have been playing PoE 1 for years, any of the new skills we add often just reuse the same animations.
Exactly.
And they're not exactly the most modern things in the world.
Not so much you can do with it now.
You don't get to do the cool custom flurries with like your swords and combos and all that kind of stuff, and I mean, you still obviously have Cyclone, where you just spin in a circle, and if you remove all the effects from that, you're literally just on a pivot doing this. It looks a little bit silly, but
I mean, I am keen to do it though. Like, it's just it'll take a while.
Yeah. It's I feel like I notice the kind of an increasing disparity between like the bosses in PoE 1 kind of like pushing further ahead because you have a bit more freedom, I guess, to use more modern.
Well, the bosses are new, like new content, right? So they get to just and the engine's the same, so you get to use all the modern tech for completely new content.
So they're looking like better and better and better, but the players are kind of staying a bit behind. So
you don't need to rig anything to the bosses. They don't need to equip.
I want to we done this because I think many will do. I don't have the time either. I think. I will be on and back tomorrow, and will be pretty hyped.
Maybe they love Path of Exile 1, but they're not that interested in Path of Exile 2.
Right.
And they maybe feel like their bunny when they